yeah, don't judge. We all do it. Welcome back to the Rusty Gulp. Alright, back to work. We're going to get busy and we're going to clean up this bumper area. And we're going to tack weld these, or weld these pieces in place. And hopefully get that finished up, painted, rust converter and heavy paint on it. And then this section will be done. Alright, so after looking at this when I ground it, the edges down here are really sharp from where it rusted away. So I think I'm going to change my mind here and take a piece of a 1-inch angle that I have left over and weld that on the outside, cut that to length, weld it on the outside, and that'll cover up that sharp edge. And I can weld it from the inside here, burn up some of that thin steel, weld that in place from the inside so I don't have to roll the card over to weld it from the bottom. Welding upside down is not something I want to do. So I get a couple of pieces of steel cut to length and get that welded. All right, after some adjustment, I've got the piece bent, and this will how it'll fit. Not too bad. Get the center lined up a little better. Once I clamp that into place, put a few welds on it, should be good to go. Yeah. Let's get that done. Back to work. One of the most expensive parts of this build has just arrived, and that is the lithium ion phosphate batteries. I went with a 72 volt system from bigbattery.com, 56 amp hour, 4.2 kilowatt. This should run the cart at near 40 miles an hour and probably run around, if you're conservative, you can run 35 miles on a single charge. So let's take a look at these. Very nicely packed. Nice foam. There's our battery leads and sorted hardware. Oh, very, very nice. Excellent. And give you handles on these because they weigh about 60 pounds each. All right. That's it, our heavy duty connector will go in there. These batteries have an on-off, so you just push the button and you have a voltage readout right here. You can see it's at 80 volts. which is nice. If you want to just open the seat and take a look and see what's in there, what the voltages read. I temporarily set the batteries in place to see how the fit is, and as you can see, they use up most of the compartment. I stuck a piece of steel in here temporarily to hold them up on this end, and then I put the connector in to make sure that it can go in. Cables can go this way, and a bus bar can go up there. Cable out of this one can come out and just go this way. You can look in and see the readout right there. I may take this one, turn it around so you can see the readout better. Then the Anderson connector will be up here, but in this corner. So to make it a shorter lead, we'll see how that goes. Alright, I'm going to need to add another piece of steel in here to support the end of that. Now, at least we have our power, and now just waiting for the drive components. Okay, I got the piece welded into the battery tray. Just a flat piece of steel so I have room to slide it a bit. And let's see how these things fit in here. I think I'm going to put them in the same direction. Alright, there we go. That's good and solid. So all I need to do is, there's holes in the battery where you can thread screws into. So I think what I'll do is I'll mark them out on the steel here, and I'll put some bolts in it to hold the batteries in place. And that should secure it enough. If I put some tabs down here, that should secure the front of it and stop it from moving. You can see right here is a hole, threaded hole, and they're like that all the way around the battery on all sides. So if I put both readouts facing one side, then all I got to do is look at one side, stand on one side of the golf cart, and I can read the battery voltage. And the Anderson connector has enough room to slide in like that. And the nice thing is, because this has a battery power switch on it, you can plug this in without it being live. You have to turn on the battery switch here before the battery's live, just like that. So decent setup. Love the fact those batteries are hard cased. They're not lead acid, and they should be about 160 pounds lighter than the lead acid batteries. So excellent deal. It was expensive, but well worth it in the end. And I mean, if I ever need the money for anything, I can sell this golf cart for more than what I put in. Okay, I've got my support for the battery welded in. It's just a flat piece of steel, but I put a little bit of arc in it upward, so when the weight of the battery sits on it, it doesn't bend downward. So I can push on this thing with all my weight and it won't move. So the next thing I want to do is the battery has holes in the side, in the bottom of it for putting mounting screws in. And so I'm going to take these little clips here. I'm going to put them up against the rail and then mark out the height and hole for the hole. But I also have this red plastic material from a shipping crate, and it has a little bit of give to it, but it's very stiff. So the plan is to put this across the bottom in one big piece, and so I'll need that as this little square as a spacer to get the height right for the hole when I drill it. So on to that. Should be fairly close on the holes, I hope. It's going to be off a little bit because of the height difference. Not too bad, off a little bit. But that's because of the way this angle is made. It's rolled, not a sharp angle. So once I put the foam in here, it'll lift the battery up just enough that it can slide both ways a little bit. It should be good then. Alright, so I need something there. Starting spot. modifications if we have to later. But this is a good start. These batteries are about 60 pounds each. A lot lighter than the lead acids. It's nice they give you this carrying handle, which is really helpful. Okay, let's do this one. Alright, now the holes are tapped. These are drilled. Just got to clean this, put some paint on it, and then actually I should fit the batteries first to make sure they're going to fit right. So we'll do that first, and then we'll clean it, paint it, and reassemble it back in the cart. Alright, I've marked out a piece of this material to fit that battery tray, and just use the whole multi-tool here, multi-cutter, and just rip one out. We're going to have to make some adjustments to that, but a little tight. Alright, I'll get that sanded and adjusted and refit. Okay, I sanded and fitted the piece. That's going to go in there just like that. Now I'll set one of the batteries in and see how close the holes came out. Probably going to have to adjust them a little bit, but okay, so we have the holes in these batteries that we're going to use for holding it. And we're pretty doggone close. Could drill that hole out another size and that one's pretty darn close. Yep, that'll work. And all I need to do is make a couple holes here in the foam for the bracket, and then that bracket can bolt right in there and hold the front of it. And then I think for extra safety, I'll just run a strap over top to both of them, just in case somebody gets wild and flips the thing over. Alright, looking pretty good so far.